9 UK coffee brands to avoid, and 3 that are safe. What if the coffee sitting in your kitchen right now isn't actually high-quality coffee, but one of the most heavily processed drinks in your entire diet, and the brand you trust the most? They're often the ones hiding the most behind the label. Today, we are break down 9 coffee brands that raise serious question, and 3 are actually trying to do things differently. And by the end, you might look at your kitchen cupboard very differently. 9. Starbucks at Home Range. The cafe experience that isn't actually cafe coffee. The Green Mermaid is more than a logo. It's a feeling. Millions of customers believe that the coffee sold in supermarkets is the same fresh coffee available in stores. It is not. In 2018, Nestlé paid over $7 billion for the rights to sell Starbucks consumer coffee products worldwide. That means much of the Starbucks coffee sold in supermarkets now moves through Nestlé's massive industrial coffee system. And many consumers notice the difference almost immediately. The biggest criticism is the taste. Supermarket Starbucks blends are typically very dark roasted. Dark roasting is the best choice for a strong taste, but it also hides poor quality beans and eliminates a lot of the coffee's natural qualities. The darker the roast, the more bitter it will be. It can also increase acrylamide formation during roasting. Some Starbucks flavored sachets have also been criticized for hidden sugar levels. Some flavors have as much as 8 to 12 grams of sugar per serving, and some people use 2 bags in a mug, and boom, coffee is a sugar bomb before breakfast even begins. What comes out is a product which looks premium but has a lot of brand image but little quality. 8. Nescafé Original Instant Coffee, the classic brand. That changed Nescafé gained their reputation by familiarity. For decades, it sat in British kitchens as the default instant coffee. Parents drank it, grandparents drank it. Entire generations trusted the brand without question. But recently, consumers started noticing something. It's not the same anymore. In 2025, reports noted not only price increases, but also the reduction in size of jars. Meanwhile, the company remained extremely dependent on the most cost-effective industrial coffee processing technique, spray drying. Spray drying is quick and profitable, but it eliminates many compounds that provide coffee aroma and complexity, which are volatile. Final product is often flatter, harsher, and bitter compared to freeze drying. Most Nescafé blends also include the cheaper Robusta beans as well. The natural roasted Robusta is naturally more caffeinated and bitter. Also, if it's not properly sourced, Robusta may have a higher chance of contamination and lower flavors. The criticism here is not that Nescafé is uniquely dangerous. The problem is that consumers are paying for a product that they feel has gotten worse over time. 7. Kenco Millicano Americano Whole Bean Instant Marketing. Kenco Millicano sounds premium. The phrase whole bean instant creates the image of fresh artisan coffee, but the reality is much less impressive. The blend is still mostly instant coffee with only a small percentage of roast and ground coffee added into the mix. That small amount helps improve aroma and texture, but many consumers report gritty sediment sitting at the bottom of the cup after drinking. Kenco is owned by JDE Peet's, one of the largest coffee corporations in the world. This is not small batch specialty coffee. It is industrial scale manufacturing wrapped in premium branding. Transparency is another criticism. Consumers see broad sustainability claims, but detailed sourcing information is often difficult to find. The result is a product positioned as sophisticated while still relying heavily on mass-market instant coffee economics. 6. Nescafé Azera Americano Premium Packaging. Similar coffee. Azera looks expensive. Black packaging, gold accents, barista-style branding. But many coffee drinkers argue the actual coffee is not dramatically different from standard instant products. Analyses suggest only a small percentage of the blend contains roast and ground coffee. The majority remains instant coffee. Some variants also include ingredients like maltodextrin, glucose syrup, and vegetable oils to improve texture and consistency. That moves the product even further away from simple coffee. The biggest criticism surrounding Azera is the illusion of variety. Nescafé offers multiple ranges including Original, Gold, Alta Rica, and Azera, but many consumers claim blind taste tests reveal surprisingly small differences between them. Different packaging, different pricing, very similar coffee. 5. Dolce Gusto Latte Pods. Convenience with hidden costs. Dolce Gusto sells convenience as luxury, but many of the latte systems rely heavily on milk powder, added sugars, and surprisingly small amounts of actual coffee. Some pods contain only around 5 to 6 grams of coffee, while costing significantly more per cup than traditional ground coffee. The environmental criticism is even bigger. Globally, tens of thousands of coffee pods enter landfill every single minute. Most consumers do not consistently use specialist recycling systems, meaning huge amounts of plastic and mixed material waste end up discarded after a single single use. Convenience comes at a serious environmental cost. 4. Tassimo pods, locked into the system. Tassimo machines scan barcodes that are embedded in proprietary pods. It may seem like a great idea, but there's a downside in that it locks consumers into one high-priced ecosystem. This translates to reduced choices, less compatibility, and increased long-term costs. Many Tassimo drinks use a soluble coffee and powdered milk instead of fresh espresso and actual milk. The final result is a pod drink that is highly processed and sold to the consumer for a cafe price. And once again, the waste problem remains massive. 3. Nespresso Aluminium pods, luxury branding, massive waste. Nespresso helped turn pod coffee into a premium luxury product. However, critics say the system focuses more on convenience and strong branding than environmental sustainability. They argue that aluminum coffee pods have a significant impact on environment because producing them involves mining raw materials, large-scale industrial, manufacturing, transportation, and recycling processes that consume a lot of energy. Many people don't recycle the pods because the collection and recycling system is confusing or not easy to use. Pods end up in landfills instead. The coffee itself is not necessarily low quality. In many cases, it is far better than standard instant coffee, but the environmental footprint is difficult to ignore. Single-serving convenience creates enormous waste. 2. Tesco Gold Instant Coffee Ultra Cheap. Coffee comes with trade-offs. Tesco Gold became one of Britain's most popular budget instant coffees for one reason: price. But ultra-cheap coffee almost always means compromises somewhere in the process. Critics point toward heavy Robusta use, aggressive spray drying, weak sourcing transparency, and harsh flavor profiles. Instant coffee processing also creates more acrylamide than fresh brewed coffee because of the extreme heat involved during manufacturing. Cheaper commodity beans generally have lower traceability and weaker quality control standards. The issue is not just taste, it is how far industrial processing separates the final product from real fresh coffee. 1. Hot Lava Java. Tailors. It's like burnt coffee disguised as strength. This coffee markets intensity, smoke notes, pepper notes, extreme strength. But in coffee, strong often simply means heavily roasted. And very dark roasting usually exists for one reason: to hide lower quality beans. When coffee is roasted aggressively, nuance disappears. Natural sweetness fades. Bitterness takes over completely. Bitterness can be a sign of quality for many consumers, as strange, more intense flavors can seem like they're of a higher quality. Rather, specialty is determined by a harmonious and fresh flavor, origin character, sweetness, and clarity, not by a burnt or very bitter taste. Thus, dark roasting styles can yield powerful, smoky coffee, but according to critics, these can often overpower the natural taste of the beans, lessening the overall complexity of the coffee. 3 UK coffee brands that are safe. These brands are so prominent for their attention to transparency, sourcing of the Arabica for their coffees, ethical farming practices, and reduced processing. No coffee is literally perfect, but these brands make noticeably stronger quality efforts than most mainstream supermarket options. Safe option 3. Cafédirect Organic Mayan Gold. It's more like ethical coffee without premium hype. Cafédirect is very committed to fair trade sourcing, farmer cooperatives, and organic farming. 100% Arabica, medium roasted, which retains more of the natural flavor than heavily burnt commercial blends. The consumers tend to appreciate the taste, the bitterness, and the sourcing. Cafédirect also offers greater transparency on the origin of the beans. Unlike many supermarket brands, it manages to strike the right balance between cost and noticeable improvement in sourcing practices. Safe option 2. Balanced Coffee built around testing and transparency. Balanced Coffee is aimed at health-conscious, care about sourcing, and testing consumers. The company focuses on specialty-grade Arabica beans, regenerative farming, independent testing, and small batch roasting. There's no hiding any secrets about roast profiles, sourcing standards, or testing practices like there is with many other brands. The light roast is also more natural and preserves more of the character of the coffee in comparison to dark roasted coffee that is bought in supermarkets. Yes, it costs more, but people aren't just purchasing the brand, they're purchasing traceability and quality. Safe option 1. Mindful Coffee Focus. The transparency leader. Mindful Coffee Focus has established itself as a laboratory-tested, transparency-oriented, quality coffee brand. They test for ochratoxin A, pesticides, heavy metals, and aflatoxins, and focus on single-origin Arabica and regenerative agriculture. The light to medium roast is developed to retain natural coffee properties without the burnt taste of many commercially roasted dark roasts. However, the most significant factor that makes this brand number 1 is transparency. Modern coffee marketing is full of vague claims and polished packaging. Most consumers never really know what is inside the bag. Mindful's entire model revolves around showing showing customers exactly what they are drinking. And in today's coffee industry, that already puts it ahead of most competitors. So next time you buy coffee, don't just look at the packaging, look what's behind it. And if you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more deep dives into the products millions of people use every day without questing them.